And we are live on a Tuesday edition of Bead Maker and Coffee with Sydney and friends. This is kind of the SEMA cast version. Good morning, Sydney, and good morning, special guest Bob Phillips. How are you guys?
Good morning.
Special guest Bob Phillips. Look at you. We had to get you up early.
No, that's not true. I'm missing my workout, Sid. So actually, but
no, I was just giving you a hard time.
It did seem early. It looks early here, right?
I think it's because you have to talk.
Yeah.
So then it's like, wait, like I can get up at 5, but I'm not like.
I'm not going to be social. Got the anti-social butterfly cup today to prove that.
Yeah, you have to kind of be awake and do all that stuff. Plus, it's like I don't know about you guys, but like a week ago, it just turned into like dark.
Yeah,
dark and winter. It's 30 degrees here.
Dark in the morning, dark at night. It's the weirdest thing. It's like summer goes and goes and goes, and all of a sudden it just ends 1 week before SEMA. It's weird.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's our reckoning. Like it's coming.
Yeah,
it's Halloween
SEMA,
week.
right?
What it is.
It's SEMA. Yeah. I don't remember who I was talking to last week, but I was talking to somebody, and we were just talking about like why we hadn't connected, and it was somebody else in the industry, and I don't remember. So if you guys are out there, I just apologize. I talked to so many people, and it was like it was like one word. I just have one word, SEMA. Like sums everything up, right? It's a little crazy.
Yep.
It is. I mean, it's kind of weird, a company that didn't do SEMA for so long, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we did it first in 2015, and now it's such a big thing. Which is, really interesting. And it's a great experience. So, I mean, and this year is going to be, bigger, better than ever. Right. So we're excited about SEMA. Plus we've had a hell of a month leading up to SEMA. I mean, we've been doing a lot of things, which is really kind of, exciting because it's kind of interesting. I know we talk about, products and using products, and the last 3 weeks, I mean, I've been doing more than I normally do, right? So that's kind of fun, right? To educate, back out educating, connecting with customers, all that stuff that's really, makes us who we are. So it's been a really cool couple of weeks leading up to SEMA, to be honest with you. And then, of course, we'll get on a plane tomorrow.
Yep. Yeah. So let's talk about that. So I think last time we got to cover the Northern California tour, right? We came home right after that. So now we are all leaving tomorrow. And where are we going, Keith?
We're going to
schedule
Chicago,
our calendar.
Our kind of town. So we are going to Chicago. We're going to go spend some time with Mr. Otterness and his team at Car Supplies Warehouse. We have a class on Friday, but before that, Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to shoot some content and videos with them in their facilities, which will be really cool. Spoiler alert, no, we're not going to give you one, but we may play with some new product, which might show up next week at SEMA. So you'll have to kind of stay tuned for that. But yeah, we're going to do some cool stuff. And then we get on a plane Friday night and we go home for the weekend. And it feels like we're commuters for the week. And then we're going to go to SEMA for a week and then come home for the weekend for some of us. And then back on the road again. It feels like
this is Keith's way of like, I work harder than anyone, right? I mean, it's just
no.
Yeah, come on, baby. I know how you roll.
And then I'm really excited though about the 2 weeks after, the week after SEMA, because we get to go be with one of our favorite people, Lindsay Rose in Roseburg, and get to do kind of introduce a new product at her event. So that'll be great. And then we turn right back around, and Josh Pierce is hosting us in the training center with 3 days of detail education. So it doesn't really stop for PNS, but SEMA certainly is that keynote event for us. That and mobile tech are going to be our biggies for the year, and beyond what we do, the industry events anyway. So excited about SEMA. And the intro reminded me that for all those who call alum, Wednesday this year instead of Thursday. Wednesday at 10 a.m. is our reunion of all the McCall's alum. So if you are at SEMA, come by, wear your shirt, be a part of the celebration. That's always so much fun to see everybody that's been on the team and been part of our success at PNS.
Yeah, and last night it was late, so if you guys didn't see it, no problem. But I actually posted an old photo from Monterey that I found that was such a cool photo. And so, it kind of just, we have so many opportunities to realize that, there's so much at PNS that is teamwork. And so, Keith, you brought up the McCall's team. And so I did a post last night just saying, all week we're going to have McCall's members with us, right? Motorlux McCall's, Monterey members, team members with us, because that's how we operate, right? Is teamwork. And we have this great extended team that we adore and want to highlight. And so that's just something fun that we're doing this year. So we do have, the reunion that we've always had, but then we have somebody with us all week in the booth. They'll be wearing their Monterey shirt, and that's going to be so fun. I'm so excited about that. We love to put other people forward, right? Like that's our thing. And so that was our way. Is, we've always done the pictures and stuff. And so this year it was like, let's throw them in the booth. Like, how fun is that? And so all week we're going to have a Monterey member with us, which is so exciting. I'm super excited about that. So if you're going to SEMA, obviously stop by anytime. We love for people to come and hang out. We have the Bead Maker Lounge like we always do. And we'll have special guests with us all week, which is super fun, super exciting.
Yep. And new toys. We always like new toys.
We do have new products. I had to remind Bob last night that he can't tell what they are.
Don't be that way. I've just been staring at it forever.
Yeah. And so, so what do we have? Four new products coming out total. If you count from other stuff. Yeah. And so, we're really excited. So we've been keeping some secrets and we're super excited about it. And so if you are at SEMA, you'll get to see some of them before they officially come out on social media. We're going to do a new product every day, rolling out on our social media. And so that will actually start on Monday, even though that's our setup day. We're going to, because there's one that we're so excited about, we can't wait till Tuesday. So we're going to release it on Monday. And so, make sure if you're not at SEMA, make sure you're watching the socials. We're super excited about that. It's going to be really fun.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And nice post last night said it is teamwork, right? That's what that's what we enjoy.
Yeah.
Totally. Just, and that, the last couple of weeks, amazing, reconnecting with customers and, it's just what it's all about. At the end of the day, it's about, detailing cars and people working on stuff and connecting with customers. So SEMA, that's what makes SEMA so magical, is we get to see everybody in all in one place. It's like kind of the Super Bowl of detailing, really.
Well, and even our extended, manufacturer team, right? I mean, Group has like all the, everyone else that we work with. It's so exciting to get to see them at SEMA, and really the industry is one big team, really. But that's going to be so fun to see everybody, and it's going to be a good time. Yeah. I was just in Vegas. It was 85 degrees. Just got home yesterday. It was so hot.
Looks like it's going to be
good.
Looks like it's
going to be nice weather.
Yeah. Well, good.
Connecting with team, I got to tell the story because for the first time since I was probably in grade school, I got a Halloween card yesterday.
Let me guess, Josh Pierce.
No, Joe Newhoff.
Oh, yes.
For those who don't know Joe, one of our great distributors, long-term partners, just a thank you note, but it was on a Halloween card stock that, we used to get when we were kids in school. And it was just a fun reminder of the season. And, Joe sent me a nice text afterwards. He says, man, you got to remember, you guys, all of you got to remember, enjoy the journey. Don't overwork yourselves. Because when we go do these events, I don't know how many people know how much effort we really put into planning and prepping and making sure it's just so, because we feel like we're hosting our best friends and we want to make sure it goes off right. But just a great note from Joe. And so Joe, if you're watching, thanks for that. And it was kind of cool to get a little card in the mail. I mean, sometimes we forget how nice it is to get a piece of mail. We're overwhelmed with emails and the text bot and all that stuff. So what a great touch. And just a reminder of the great people on our network and our team, as you will see.
That just reminded me, I did not go get my mail yesterday, but I have like the little preview thing. And so I know that I have a card out there from Joe too, but so I need to go get it. But so fun. So fun.
Yeah,
So-
Joe's got good style. That goes back to, I
Yep.
mean, many people don't know that Joe originally was a customer of mine in the city of San Francisco and ran a detail shop called Blue Lake Auto Detail in the basement of a luxury hotel called the Portman
That's so
Hotel.
cool.
It's now called the Pan Pacific. I think it's still there. But what was really interesting about Joe was his style. And Joe created a destination in the basement. People would want to come down and see his shop, but more importantly, Joe always left a little gift inside everybody's car. Like, for example, if they chewed gum or if they did, whatever, he left like a little bit of gum or a little signature inside the car. And that, that's still his style, right? Send a note. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. So I was going to bring that up. So this is kind of funny. So years ago, probably 3 years ago, I got one of those, Keith. Mine are sitting right here. From Joe.
Yeah.
So they're like the old insurance card holder, right? And he sent me a couple in the mail, and it honestly took me a minute to figure out what they were. And then he sent me 2, and this was like 3 years ago. So I think Delaney had just started driving or something. And so I put them in Mike and I's car. And then she was so mad, and she was like, "Why don't I have one of those?" And of course, me, I didn't go look on, Amazon or anything for one. She's just suffered without it all, the whole time. Luckily, she's never been pulled over, so she hasn't had to look for her insurance. But, she brings it up all the time. And then Tristan obviously started driving this past summer. And so it was so funny. So the minute I got to Joe's place, that was the first thing I said to him. Literally, I was like, I need more of those insurance packets because my kids both drive now and they're mad about it. But I didn't want other ones. I wanted ones that said Bay Area Car Care on them. And so, that was too funny. So yeah, that was the first thing I asked him for. So he gave me a whole pack of them. But
well,
yeah,
I think Joe,
I love stuff like that.
It's kind of old school. Joe grew up in the hospitality industry. He grew up there was a very famous hotel in the city that he worked at. He could tell us, but that was his DNA. And he worked for a very famous hotel manager that, taught hospitality. So it's just part of his core. It's who he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
he's great.
He does it as well as anybody, and that's his unique style. And I think that's how he connects to his customers. So that's cool.
Yeah.
So question of the day, as always, what was your favorite product last week? What did you use last week that you fell in love with again, Sydney?
Oh man, can I say something from the Babes boat line?
Run it.
So I had this horrible boat. I don't think we talked about it, but I had this horrible boat. Maybe I did talk about it, but I don't think I said this. But so I had this horrible boat. It was a 23-foot ski boat, and it was green and black. It was beautiful, but it showed up, and I was like, "What is going on with this thing?" It was so dirty and so bad. It was covered in water spots, absolutely covered. And I don't really like to do hard boats. I mean, we've talked about that before. It's not really my thing. I like pretty ski boats. And the coolest thing, I just sprayed it down with spot solver from the Babes boat line, and then just did my wash clay seal on it. I mean, the boat turned out literally perfect, right? I sent you guys a video and I was like, check this out. But it really, it wasn't really actually that much work. It was great. And I was working outside. And so it was just nice. And so Bob might have to go into the chemistry of this, but I think spot solver is a little bit different than a traditional water spot remover in a few different ways. But it was not too crazy harsh, but then it was just the right thing to get those spots off the boat. I don't know anything about boats or water spots, but it worked so good. And I was very thankful that I had it. Very thankful. It took me 32 ounces, which you guys know, because
God bless you, said 32 ounces of spot solver, right?
Yeah, but it was a big boat. It was a big boat. 23 feet. I normally cut it off at 21.
When you sent pictures, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually said, "What'd you use?" You said spot solver. I said, "Wow, worked that good, huh?" You were like, "Yes, yeah." Because water spots on boats can be brutal. Just depends on because people typically they'll go all season and won't remove their water spots. They'll just be miserable on the boat. Yeah.
Oh, they were absolutely hammered on there. It was crazy. And then obviously the glass, I used Clarity Cream. The glass was just as bad, but Clarity Cream cleaned that up. And so yeah, shout out to Babe's Boat. It was also the last nice day in Boise. So I kind of, kicked out the summer with working outside, doing a boat, and it was fun. And,
Yeah,
so, yeah,
cool.
Good times.
Yeah.
That was my product.
Yep.
Morning, Mr. Petro.
Morning, Josh.
There's been a couple of folks
Morning,
from Philly and Pittsburgh. Pay attention. The week after SEMA, I am in Pittsburgh and potentially Philly. So I look forward to seeing people if you're there.
Nice. Bob, did you have a favorite?
I do have a favorite product.
Okay.
And it's something that you use in your shop, Sid. It's over. Well, it used to be, now that you've reorganized your shop, I don't know where, but it used to be in the 5-gallon container side. Full send.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So, I don't use off-road stuff that much. And, and I really, to be honest with you, I've used full send, but it's been a while. And so those that don't know, last week I was down at Rennie's, with a film crew, and we were filming videos, and we were, we did the, overland stuff. And so we were doing all the off-road products. And, we cleaned the wheel and the rim and the wheel well with Mudbuster and all that for the show. And then we dressed the tires with full send. And the product was just, it's mind blowing. I mean,
it's great,
is like over shiny, to be honest with you, but I think the funny thing is the film crew, I said, well, let's dress the tires. Then we'll go inside. We'll let it set up because the big tires with all the, crevices and in it. And so we went inside, and then I said, hey, you guys, you better go out and get still shots of the tire dressing outside. So they go outside. Rennie and I are in the shop, and I hear this, holy shit. I mean, because the full set, I mean, it's just an amazing product. And quite frankly, I guess I better use it more. Yeah.
Yeah. I use it all the time. All the time. I love full send. I love the way it smells, but it's so interesting how it's like, it's a lot like dynamic, but it's not. It levels and stuff in the same way, but they kind of look a little bit different. And so sometimes I love using full send, and even on the fender wells and stuff, but it is just crazy how it self levels, absorbs on its own. You almost don't even need to go back and brush it.
It's rich too. I mean, it has it's almost like you want to touch it. I mean, it's very,
but
anyway.
Then you touch it and it's dry, right? Like it's not like you're wiping stuff out on your hand. That is wild to me.
It got me thinking, and Keith knows my secret project for 2025. So I got me thinking.
We're gonna do it.
Our secret project for 2025, because I'm like, we're missing the boat on, not
don't give away the project.
These products. I'm not going to give it away, but I can't keep a secret, Keith. Come on, man.
I know none of us can, but that's okay.
Let's hook up. Joey's
and he wants to say the new thing. Yeah.
So very cool. We had dinner with Joey during the NorCal tour, which was great. Good to see him. And
we'll see him next week. He'll be at SEMA, so that's fun.
Lots of good mornings here. Old friends and new. Good morning, Adam.
Yes, good morning, Adam.
We are also going to see, we may not see Ramiro, but
no, he's going to be there. Yeah, he's going to be there. I think he's going to be there Tuesday.
Yeah, he's in Monday, Tuesday. That's right. Yep. New product.
Another basement
find. No, this is some new Jack.
No basement here,
baby.
There might be a little tinge of a little basement in there if you really think about it.
Somebody else's basement.
No, it was yours.
Good morning, Scott. This is going to be awesome.
Good morning, Scott. Yes, we'll see Scott actually, I believe, in Chicago. I think he's going to stop by tomorrow afternoon. Yeah.
And Scott, I got the tank cleaned up. It's ready for I'm going to put brake buster in it. I like my brake.
Yeah.
Speaking of Chicago, I love Jason's video with the bottle of Rehab. It'll change your life, right?
Yeah, that was so
what
funny.
Is it with that guy? He's like the coolest guy on the planet.
Yeah.
That was super funny. So Keith, Scott did say never put
acid
eater stuff in there again.
Yeah, no, I won't. But I do. I'm intimately familiar with those tanks. They're stainless. That's fine for that. Don't put real acid in one of those tanks. It will eat the hell out of the tank.
Oh, I bet.
Did you do that? You didn't do that, Keith, did you? You know better.
What?
Wheel acid and stainless.
No. But
no. But Scott sent him one of those kegs. The keg sprayers that he makes, and Keith went out and treated weeds with it.
Oh, dude, I was killing blackberries, man. I had to beat them back. So, but no, but don't, So it's all cleaned out. It's ready to go. It's ready for detail season in the garage. So, To answer Adam's question, we are there. What is the Saturday after SEMA, Sid? That is the
I believe it's the 16th, I want to
16th.
say.
That's right.
I want to say the date is the 16th.
Well, let me look at the magic
Okay.
calendar. It'll tell us everything we need to know.
15, 16,
Well, I got to
know
tell
it's
you,
something like
I
that.
mean, for those that don't know
16.
Lindsay Rose, her garage, her shop.
Oh, so cool. Gosh.
Dude, it is everybody's dream to have a shop.
I just say the word style, right? And character in her shop. Did you see the Halloween party she hosted in her shop?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what is going on?
Yeah,
Insane.
it's
so
going to
cool.
become a destination spot. I have a feeling. So
I think it is.
Yeah.
We just haven't been there.
Yep. It's 3 hours away from me. I'm going to go down and see him. Good morning, Crisanto.
Oh, Crisanto.
Kyle.
Good morning, Kyle. I'm assuming Kyle Camus is coming to SEMA. He always comes, right?
I think he does, yeah.
All right. Hippolito, good morning. Can I save absolute diluted in a gallon with water, 256 to 1? You absolutely can, but I would suggest using DI water or distilled whenever you have any chemical diluted that you want to last more than a couple weeks. I would use not tap water, but absolutely you could. All right. They're saying, yes, I do it all the time. The trick is to buy, a gallon of distilled water. Regular tap water gets gross. It does. Yeah.
So that's the other thing. If you've got a well at all, you definitely don't want to use that water. There may be bacteria in there, and that can get some funky stuff going with any kind of soap. So,
I mean, Absolute may solve that issue, because there are things in Absolute that make the water so it doesn't go funky. But sometimes the water can be a little too powerful. I totally agree with you. It should be, but
and I guess it depends on how long you're planning on keeping it. Like a gallon of Absolute, even in a spray bottle, I go through that in a few days, and so I use tap water, but I know that I'm going through it in a couple days.
Right. Yeah.
So, all right. So if I keep it as a quick detailer, do I need to shake it up or mix it again, or is it ready to go? I think it's probably ready to go. I have a habit of I shake every bottle right before I use it, but it's just literally a habit. But I don't think it stays fully mixed. Yeah, it doesn't separate once mixed in.
Yeah. I think most of our soaps will stay suspended for a good amount of time, so you shouldn't have a problem there.
Yeah.
Let's make sure I shake it up. Yep. So everybody is answering the questions for us. This is awesome.
It's the best thing about social media, Keith. What are you talking about? Everybody answers the questions for you.
Travis says, can absolutely be used as a pre-treat before foam and contact wash. Would there be any benefit to it? The benefit would be obviously the dirt suspension, right? The polymers are going to encapsulate that dirt. So, yes, it's going to make it a little bit safer. So you could absolutely use it as a pre-treat. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, any way to moisturize that and kind of start the softening and breaking up process is probably a good thing. So
yeah. The devil in the details says Sydney might kick me out for this, but I shake the hell out of Absolute before using it all the time, straight or diluted. Well, just
there you go.
Whatever works for you. Karen, good morning, Karen. And then the details of me. Good morning, happy Tuesday.
Yeah,
it's weird to have it on a Tuesday, right?
It is, but any more these days run together, so it's all good. So
yeah.
All right, here's a question.
I heard that Rehab has a little haze. I know it depends on the pads, but what compounds polishes can it replace with the pad system? Can it also be used as a one-step? Advice for finishing, please. So David, I'm not sure who you heard that from. I have done at this point hundreds of cars with Rehab. I have never had one. Well, no, I shouldn't say never. I've had one car in hundreds haze, and anything I used on that specific paint made it haze. So, but generally speaking, I've not ever had it haze. So it really is very flexible with whatever pads you want to use. I've replaced nearly all of my compounds and polishes with it. Rehab's pretty much all I use. And I always use it as a one step. So my biggest advice here, the first thing I would say if somebody was experiencing haze is I would ask about their pad. Is it properly clean? Does it have any previous material in it? Because I can see where Rehab does not mix with like older style compounds, or, It's not going to play well with that. If dirty compounds off of your pad mix with Rehab, it's probably not going to go well. So for me, I take super good care of my pads, and I also kind of switched all my pads when I switched to Rehab. So that would be my first question for somebody with haze is, what is the condition of your pads?
We also, and also just pads in general. Remember, we have, everybody thinks all yellow pads are the same.
Right.
They're not all the same foam. So you may see somebody in a video do something with the yellow foam and go, oh, that's what I'm going to do. And then you use the yellow foam. So I would say, look at the pad itself.
Yeah.
Besides, all the other things you mentioned, Sid, it could just be pad specific. Yeah.
Right. And also, like, if you are using like a wool or a microfiber, just because of the pad, you may have to go back, over it with a finishing pad. So I know Keith did this recently in training, so while it's a one step, that doesn't necessarily mean that, 100% of the time you won't have to go back over. So if you're using a super aggressive pad, it could be the pad that's causing some hazing. But like for me, I primarily use the maroon Buff and Shine, which is very aggressive, or I'll use the microfiber blend. I don't ever have any hazing, and I don't ever have to go back over. But I know, Keith, you had, what was that recently that you went right back over with the finishing pad? You didn't even wipe Rehab off.
Well, that was a Nissan Frontier. So, a Japanese paint that's typically a little more brittle, a little harder paint. And it was absolutely trashed, right? We were taking out defect that we probably shouldn't have been going after. It could have been a sandable car. And we went after it with the wool pad, and we went out after it with, quite a bit of pressure. So we were intentionally going to haze it. We knew it was going to happen, but we were going after severe defect. And I think anytime you do that, you have to kind of acknowledge that what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish is going to create a different condition in the paint. If you're trying to get a one-step effect out of it, which is, by the way, Rehab is a one-step product, so that it should not haze, then you're going to get a different result. But we basically should have taken a Brillo pad to that thing and just started over. That's kind of where we were.
I think the other thing too, the team in general has been exceptionally impressed with Rehab and soft finishing foam pads. The amount of actual correction it will do in one step with a soft foam, even on hard paint. We've been, it's deceptive. The product has unique characteristics. So sometimes you may just, if you're comfortable using a certain pad, you may jump to a totally different pad and get the same results.
That would be my other piece of advice is, sometimes we look at a piece of paint and we go, it needs this. I would still encourage you to go through a little bit of a progression to see just how much you can get out with a less aggressive pad than you're thinking you need. Because as Bob said, you can do some pretty amazing things with a less aggressive pad comparatively. I think that's a little bit of it too, is we get in the habit of, we know what the product we've been using does with a certain pad. You may have to just kind of rethink how you use Rehab when you get in that situation.
All right, Chris M., any plans on doing any more Babes boat care content on YouTube? I was just finishing with a friend, and his 100,000 fiberglass fishing boat was all water spotted and dirty. I want to help him out with it. It's always on our wish list of things to get accomplished. That's just a hard one, right? And when I knew I had this boat scheduled, when was that? When we did was it the NorCal tour? I can't remember, but I was in Hayward and I told you, Bob, I said, I've got this really great boat scheduled. I wish that we could film it, but like on something that big, I can't do it myself and work at the same time, right? And everybody was everywhere. We couldn't pull anybody together to actually film it. And so it's hard because
I think our response was, Sid, let us know when the boat's in the driveway and someone will go, right?
Yeah, but then it was when Ian was, abroad, and so it wasn't going to work out. But so that's the hard part, is we have like 4 or 5 opportunities total per year. So next year we'll try to be on top of that a little bit more. But those are hard because they're so few and far between. And it's hard to just pull a boat in. I mean, Bob, you have a boat, but it's probably been done.
Actually, believe it or not,
right?
I have a great dealer here locally lets
Mm-hmm.
us film videos in his shop, and it's a
Cool.
boat dealer, and they have a beautiful
Mm-hmm.
showroom. We can go in and do anything we want.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So we'll
we
work
can
on
do
that. Yeah. So we'll work on that. And then we also, well, we can talk offline about that, but we have some other special people in Hayward that have boats that would like us to do them that also have fire trucks. So we'll talk about that more. But yes, boats and fire trucks. We'll get there.
They were at P&S last Friday.
Were
I
they?
saw that. I was gonna
Yeah.
text him.
When
You
the
know, he's
truck
coming
crashed through
to.
the tree and flipped in front of P&S, we had the whole fire.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
And all
yeah. I
our
thought they
Yeah.
were there visiting, but they were there working. So
No, so and I can say it, it's no secret, but since I brought it up, I'll say it. So the chief of Hayward Fire would like to come to training, and so I need to put him in the training for November. So he's
Yeah.
going to come, I believe, that Monday. And so he was like, "Hey, can I come? You know, can I get trained? Like, I actually want to get trained." And I was like, "Yeah." So so he's going to actually come to training, which is so fun. But yeah, I meant to text him last week and ask him if he was there, but I didn't.
he's got to come in November because in December we don't have our traditional
Right.
training class.
Yeah.
There's nothing like having
building.
the fire department out front and everybody waving at you while they're
Right. Yeah.
They're like, hey.
Right. I'm sure that goes
Yeah.
over. Who are these fans out here? What's going on?
Yeah, that's so funny. Well, Hayward Fire, they all know PNS, so that's pretty funny. All right, details official. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Michael Hill.
Can't wait to see you, Michael.
Yeah, so exciting. So exciting.
Yeah, I think the answer we're going to say on that one is not going to happen for us.
Yeah.
Joe.
What's that movie where I'm picturing that little kid going, I've got to go fold the clothes. I got to do the laundry. I got like, that's a picture, Joe. I got to feed the dog. I got to mow the yard.
Good morning,
Alan. Oh my gosh, we get to see Alan too.
Yeah, he'll be in the booth with us as well. So everybody look for that.
Yep.
That'll be awesome to have him in the booth with us this year. How many years have we waited to put him on the team? And now he's on the team. So that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, this will be his first SEMA since SEMA's really like, you know, he hasn't been to SEMA since it was kind of a littler show. So this will be his first SEMA since it's like SEMA, like the SEMA we know. So he's about to get
How long ago was he there?
I think it was like 2012 or 2013. He told me it's been a long time.
Yeah.
And he just went as like a, you know, he walked around. So this will be his first one working.
That was pre-PNS.
It's a little different. It's a little different pace than MTE.
SEMA didn't exist until PNS started going.
Right. Exactly.
Right,
yeah. You know, it's all about us. All right. One of my favorite products here is Mudbuster. I love this product. I just think it's such a great grind buster as well as Mudbuster. I mean, Sid, you've used it a ton. What's your kind of answer on this one?
I mean, I use it like in fender wells a lot, engine bays. It's great. So it is, you know, an all-purpose cleaner, but I kind of feel like it falls between all-purpose cleaner and degreaser. I mean, it does a lot of more heavy grease cutting than just a typical APC. But what I love about it, I think my favorite thing about it is it almost takes no contact. You know, so I will spray floor mats, you know, engines, the fender wells, and then I just pressure wash them to rinse them. And I almost never need like brushes or contact wash. And it doesn't ever hurt anything. Like that's always my biggest thing. You know, I'd used products in the past where they'd end up, you know, bleaching the plastics or, you know, leaving residue or whatnot. And that's what I love about it is it has never, ever, ever gotten me in trouble ever. And it's just so effective and just does such a great job. And then it's got, what does it have in it, Bob? It's got some like rust inhibitors or something.
Yeah.
I
think the interesting, it's just the right amount without being too much, right?
Yeah.
Like, because realistically,
I mean, it just works.
Mudbuster is to work on some, you know, off-road vehicle that has, you know, a lot of black plastic, gray plastic, but you don't want it to like streak it or dry it out. You just want it to pull the dirt off without damaging it. So it's just the right amount without being too much. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
And it's great in an IK pump foamer. It's fantastic in that. And remember, guys, when you're doing this, because you're doing it on a dirty car and it's a first application, apply from the bottom up with your chemical so you don't get any streaking, and it'll give you.
Yeah, it was pretty funny at Rennie's shop, and the video guys were there. We go, oh, what are we going to demo? I go, we're going to use all the busters. All Mudbuster, all the busters, man. We got to go outside and use the busters. So
we got to come up with a campaign for the Buster Trio. That ought to be fun.
Very cool.
Yeah, so it's a great, it emulsifies and it softens and it breaks down that dirt. So that's yes, you should absolutely use it as opposed to just pressure washing. Good morning, Scott Kelly.
Superato, better late than
Superato is
never.
in the
Good morning.
program at just after 7. So okay,
Everybody's
you guys
on.
go in a whole
Yep.
different language for conversation. I'm not putting those up.
Juan says, I want to go to SEMA. I've never been there before. It's pretty great.
Yeah. Keith, did you see Jason Carl's comment?
I'm about to get there.
Yeah, good deal. All right. Because I can't wait to tell him. No. Oh, yeah, no. No.
Oh, no.
No.
Sorry, Jason. We're going to keep you waiting a little bit longer. But it's gonna be great when you get it.
No.
One more week, maybe. If you're good.
Yeah.
One of our favorite people on the program, Mr. Barr. How are you today? Good morning.
Can't believe I'm saying this, but I'll see you all next week. I know, right? Crazy. I'm so excited for SEMA this year. So excited. I was working on my arts and crafts last night. I'm all ready. Sarah, when you
I was working on arts and crafts all day yesterday, Sid.
Were you? Sorry.
To compliment your arts and crafts project.
I love that you said we won't do arts and crafts, Bob, and now Sydney's got you doing arts and crafts all day.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but if this is a flashback to SEMA 1 with me, right? When I said, let's do this, and I think Bob could have died. He was like, you've got to be kidding me. We are not doing this because I want to do arts and crafts. And it required a trip to Target in Vegas.
Right.
Right.
Well,
Bob,
actually,
you were not happy. You were like,
I think the idea was when we were in the car, I think that's when the comment happened. I can't believe we're going to Target to buy a toy.
Then remember the parking lot was a cluster and you were like, why are we doing this? But I mean, right, it turned out so great. And this project's going to turn out so great. I know it.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure it'll have quite the impact of the first arts and crafts.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, not going to lie. It may not have the same impact, but it's going to be
that first arts and crafts project, it was like, where are we going? Target?
We still have
it. It's on the road right now. We're never going to get there. It took us like an hour to get there. So this better be worth it, kid.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, we needed a Rock'em Sock'em game. You know, the old
it was for the original Coding Smackdown.
Coding Smackdown, and then I cut out all the coding brands like in little tiny. We had to run around SEMA, collect something that had their logo on it that was the right size, and then put the advertising around the ring and stuff. It was great. It was so fun. But we did it like on a SEMA night. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It was pretty
one
crazy.
of those nights where we had nothing to do.
Okay, so I forgot we didn't answer this.
Vehicle.
Is it too aggressive to use if the vehicle's coated? Yes.
Yeah.
Because Rehab is essentially a compound. We call it a correcting cream because it means you can finish with it as well, but it is a compound. Anytime you use a compound and any kind of more than like a black pad on a coating, you are going to abrade the coating. So if you're looking to remove the coating, this will do it. But yes, if you're looking to get a scratch out of a coating, really without being sure that you've kind of removed the coating, and then also all coatings are different. You're talking like a black pad and NB is going to not remove a coating, but anything that is, in the polish compound space and especially a blue pad is going to abrade the coating. Not necessarily remove it 100%, but it's definitely going to abrade
I think
the coating
water in a blue pad would do a good job.
Of course. Yeah. Totally. And on that note, yesterday I did a coating, right? So I landed in Boise at 11 o'clock, rushed home and did a ceramic coating. And it was on a dark blue Toyota Highlander that had been coated with Inspiration 3 years ago, classic, and wanted to move to a 5-year coating. So did that. And I just used Rehab and a blue pad and in some places an orange pad, and it fully removed the coating. So obviously the coating had aged, but yes, it takes everything off. It was great.
So you made a great use of Envy and a black pad. That would be my product of the week because it saved my bacon the other day. So that is the one. If you're going to polish a coating, I would probably recommend for anybody. So
yeah. Gary, hello from Barrie, Canada. Just got out in the rain looking at the rain beading on the hood after using Clean Maker for the first time this past weekend. Loving it. Awesome. That's the Bead Maker and the Clean Maker coming through. Rehab is fire. It really is. It really is.
All right, we're getting some questions now.
And for those of you, I just want to give him a shout out because I think it's been great. But in the Bead Maker Lounge on Facebook, our group, right? Luke Hayward, man, has been on fire with Rehab, right? I think he uses it every single day and absolute fire. So he posts every day, like middle of the night. Like, I think all he does is use Rehab all day, every day. Like, he might need some Rehab. It's pretty great, though. I love it. Luis, if you're using a ketchup bottle, make sure you have the top that locks so the compound doesn't dry out when you use it. That makes a difference too. Yeah, I love those little pop tops. That's what I have my Rehab in. It's one of the little, what do they call those? Self-cleaning nozzles?
Yeah, self-cleaning. They're used on glue bottles a lot.
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Juan, why do people use an orbital? Because they think that that's the way to go if a lot of people are going back to using the old buffer with the wolf pad. I noticed they're having a lot of classes and conferences where people pay to learn hands-on. Okay, you guys are going to have to decipher what those terms mean. I'm too...
So I think it's a wool pad, and I think he's talking about going back to using a rotary and a wool pad. And look, there's nothing wrong with the rotary. Rotary is a great tool, and it does a fantastic job. And if you're trying to do more severe correction, I think most people would equate that to that level of correction. But with today's modern paints and thinner paint, you always have to be careful about how much you remove. But if you have severe defect, a rotary is going to be a good choice. I see a lot of people using them because it is still an effective tool. And I know Rupes has made an emphasis on that in the last couple of years as well. So the other thing is rotary tools are way lighter, more nimble, just so much better to use than they were 20 years ago. So
yeah. So I think it just depends on how much cutting you're going to need to be doing because, like a lot on the newer cars and stuff, you wouldn't want to cut that much, and then in between those two falls the forced action, right? Which, does quite a bit more cutting for sure, or faster, it might do it a little bit faster. But so, yeah, I think, for me, I have all the machines. I still don't know how to use a rotary. Someday I'll learn, but I have one now. But I think having all the machines always gives you the right tool for whatever challenge is in front of you. And, that's something that I definitely learned on that Forerunner. I know we talked about the Forerunner, but that was just something that I learned that was a really difficult correction. But because I had all the right chemicals, all the right pads, and all the right tools, I was able to get it done safely because there's not a lot of paint on those Toyotas. I was able to get it done safely and quickly, and it looked absolutely amazing. And so I think, for me, I always suggest everybody have all the right tools.
Yeah. Bob, you're oddly quiet.
You're working on.
No, I'm taking it all in. I kind of like I'm going. And Juan, don't take this the wrong way. We're calling it a wolf pad from now on because it gets.
I love that.
I love it too. Yeah, that's great.
I know. I was like, "What's a wolf pad? And how do I get one?" That sounds amazing.
Exactly. We're coming out with a new wolf pad.
You know what? Shoot, we should have named a new pad that.
I know.
Well, I think we need to come out with a gray and black one and call it a raccoon pad, but that's just me. So.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I think the raccoon's getting enough play.
Yeah, no, he's got plenty.
Good morning, Jeff. Dream Team is in the house. David, are there any fillers in Rehab? I've never used it yet. Sorry. Just can go from info on get on the internet. Well, go get yourself a bottle. And then, Bob, does it have any fillers in it?
No fillers. Yeah.
No fillers.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot lately. I don't know where that's coming from, but no, there are no fillers in Rehab.
You know what it is in here? I think we just can't talk about it enough. And because we faced this challenge years ago with waterless wash versus rinseless wash, right? So now we're in this one step or all in one. It just gets hard as we move into this time. It gets hard to decipher the language. And so people think when we're saying one step, they think we're saying all in one. Like when we used to say rinseless wash, they thought we meant waterless wash. And so it's just, but that's what it is. It gets confusing because an all-in-one does have fillers. A one-step does not.
Yeah, I think the hard part is really like defining what a filler is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like for example, just when a chemist like Dave builds a product, you have a solvent in there, and solvent has an oil component to it. It is a petroleum derivative, so it will moisturize, right? So is that really a filler? But it's also a component of the actual product. So I define fillers, and I could get shot for this. It's something that can't be removed. It's something that artificially enhances the paint that is not easily removed. But there really are no permanent fillers or anything like that in rehab. Yeah, no.
Yeah, nothing that's going to leave behind that's going to cause any problem with any sealant or coating that you choose to put on, for sure. Joey Belinsky, I've barely used anything but Rehab since it launched. I've never gotten any haze. Me either, just on that 155 truck that I did. But that was obviously like a super weird paint system. So, but yeah, Rehab, it's hard to grab anything else. For sure. It is. No fillers, all thrillers. Thank you, Devil in the Detail.
I like it.
That's great. That's great. Good morning, Stilly's Mobile Detail. Did you see him this week, Bob? Andy Stilley, did he stop by? I saw that he got a whole new setup in his truck. That was pretty cool. But I think Andy Stilley came by.
Maybe.
Yeah. He's a mobile detailer. He's awesome.
I don't see everybody that comes by. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mark Gabar, with the finishing getting with Rehab, what finishing polish would you recommend for more definition?
NV.
Yeah, NV.
More definition.
Or, honestly, Mark, what I do is I just grab a black pad. And
I was going to say finish with a soft foam pad. I mean,
yeah.
I say leave the residue down and just put a couple dabs on a black pad and go right over it. But that's me.
Yeah. Yeah, Alan, that was answering when did he go to SEMA the first time? 8 years ago. 16. It's changed.
Yeah. Our booth is bigger.
Yeah.
I
went.
ENS
I started.
You're right.
I started going to SEMA 10 years ago, and the first time I went, there really wasn't like a detailing section. There was a couple manufacturers, but there was not really the detailing like what exists now. I mean, it's crazy now. We have they built us a new building. Kind of.
We did. Detailing got so big they had to build a whole new building. That's
yeah. JB Doer, what's up on Friday? We'll have to see what happens on Friday. Frank Opais, Rehab is an amazing product. Thank you.
You are correct.
Rehab. Yes. So this is Andy Stilley again with Stilley Mobile Detailing. I finally stopped into Hayward and picked up a few things on my way back from Orlinda. Met a few of the guys, super cool. Bob, don't tell Mike.
Mike and Cookie. Yeah, secrets. Don't worry.
Don't worry. They're not watching.
Secret safe. Yeah, they're definitely not watching. Or maybe they are.
So funny. So he just had his whole, I believe it's a Chevy truck. He just had it all built out, with the racks and everything. And I mean, it's so cool. They did low profile because it's all in the back of his truck and then in the back passenger area, but it looked really cool. Bob, you met Andy a couple years ago at TR SEMA.
Okay. Oh.
Do you remember that?
Yes, absolutely.
Rennie took him to the airport or something, but
totally.
You've met him before, but
I'm putting it all together. Sorry.
Yeah. Frank, Keith, where will you be? I think you're talking about
CBA. I will be doing an announcement. We will have a class in Pittsburgh, so there will be a flyer. Sydney doesn't know it. She's doing a flyer this week. And
that's
everything I need to know.
Can you give me a flyer?
Yep, send me the details. All right, Ricardo, my first SEMA, and I can't wait to see you guys. Well, yay!
Is it really?
Ricardo's coming. That's crazy. I thought
you'd been there before.
It's just been an MTE, yeah. But we missed you at the car show this year, so we're super excited to see you.
Yep.
That's great.
Mudbuster, yeah.
That's good. That's good. I'm gonna make a video and call it that, Jeff. With the Tribuster. That's great. Where's the Defender love? That's our favorite. You know what? That is so funny because Defender literally is such a great product, and I use it on every single car in some way, and I use it inside my house. Like, but Defender is just, it's such a great product. But yeah, not a lot of people talk about it.
It's just
It's
because there's so much
so
noise in that
good.
space now, Sid. You know, I
Yeah,
mean,
but it
but
is, but it's
Defender
so
is
good.
without a doubt. Like when I hear everybody talk
It's
about,
so good.
you know, SiO2 ceramic
Yeah.
spray with protection, Defender is like right at the top.
It's so good. And a lot of it for me is how easy it is to use because, you know, I test a lot of products and I mean, I've tested every SiO2 spray on the market. And so many of them you have to be so careful with, or they've got such weird, you know, installation things. And Defender is so easy to
You
use.
know what?
And it's
You know what?
so
Actually,
good.
you know what popped up on my screen last night? I was taking notes, and what popped up on my screen is the notes that I wrote for us prior to the launch of Defender. All the boxes that Defender checked.
Oh,
And I
funny.
think,
Yeah.
you know, one of the things is we're not mentioning all those enough, you know,
Yeah.
how it pairs
Yeah.
with coatings, how it makes coatings more acid resistant, how it, you know, just all the things that Defender does. I just think it gets lost in the conversation.
Yeah.
It's just such a good product. The optics is, I think, to me, the most impressive part when you apply it to a car with a coating and you come back like a half hour or an hour later and you look at that car and you're like, what just happened? I mean, it's like, you could just see it. You can feel it, everything about Defender.
Yeah.
And actually, you know, I have to give Daniel Pitts from CBC Distributing out of Clarksville, Tennessee, a shout out because Keith and I were just there and his truck, he uses nothing but Defender. It's a black GMC. The thing is flawless.
Yeah.
I mean, Defender is just amazing. It doesn't
Well,
get.
and remember, Bob, just a couple weeks ago in Boise, AB from TRC had literally just drove a new car off the lot, drove it straight off the lot, a Mazda, pulled it into the media center, and so Bob walked over there with some paint prep. He wiped half the hood and then he sprayed Defender on it. It was a totally different color, but remember the slick?
Oh yeah, no, they were like,
and that
what
was
do you use?
like
I go,
no
Defender.
prep. Yeah, and there was no prep, and it was crazy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It actually made the red like.
It was a totally different color. I think you ended up having to do the rest of the hood because it was a different color. Yeah, it was so great, so awesome. Arts and crafts.
Couple weeks, Josh, you can do it.
Good day to me. I'll think of something for Bob to do on TRC Arts.
I'm not that crafty. I'm good with graphics. There's difference. Graphics and crafts are two different things. You're not the same.
I'll apply the stickers.
Crafts are like hot glue gun. I'm not a hot glue gun guy.
Yeah. Actually, you are good at applying labels, though.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you are really good at putting graphics on.
You've had some practice at that.
You really got some practice there. So
I got my New Balance ready for SEMA. Awesome. I got some new Vans yesterday that I'm super excited about. That I might break out.
Me too. I got a fresh pair of my kicks.
Yeah.
The Vans that I love. The cushions. Dude.
I guess are we doing the SEMA shoe this year?
No. You freestyle.
I'm wearing my same ones from last year, but I did get a new pair of Vans with the cushy, comfy, whatever, and they're really.
Do you like them, Sid?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, I know.
Yep. No, they're so comfortable.
Sweet.
Yeah,
I will have to check them out.
Whatever it says inside.
Never worn Vans, but now that they got all the cushiony stuff for us old guys, I'll try them out.
Yeah, mine are kids, so I can't tell you which ones I got because they probably.
Keith, let's go retro, man. Go back to Bud Abraham with black dress shoes, baby. Come on. Don't let us down.
That sounds awful. I do remember one SEMA, Keith, when you tried to wear those fancy black and red ones and dress shoes. I think you were dying by midday, though.
Yeah, they're good for working the red carpet for about an hour, and then that's it. Yeah, but no, my shoe game's up a little bit for this year. So all the Busters, the Killer Bees, we love it.
Wu-Tang.
I don't know where that's going, but I like it.
Oh no. Christopher Todd Robertson says, "Good morning, all. Good morning."
Hey, by the way, Christopher, great talking to you last week. Thank you for the time.
Uni, good morning, Uni.
We're her peps. We're not her peeps. We're her peps.
Peps.
We're here to
Man, I
pep
gotta put her.
It kind of,
charging
hey,
cable in
Keith,
my
that goes back
backpack
to
today.
last year in our booth. Remember she was Uini.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
yeah, yep.
Hey, that's one of our little Easter eggs, Sid, right? You got to have a
I know.
misspelling somewhere.
Yep, we have
Right.
to. Yep.
Yeah.
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Mike. How is it going on the East Coast, brother?
Justin says, speaking of Rehab, I've noticed a fair bit of dust if I've been using it. Am I doing something wrong? I don't ever get dust, Justin. I'm going to go back to my previous comment that it's got to be your pad. It's got to be somehow it's not cleaning out of your pad, because Rehab itself is virtually impossible to make it dust. That is old compound coming out of the back of your pad.
Yeah, it's not a duster for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's virtually impossible to get it to dust. The only time I've had it dust is when clearly I did not clean my pad well, and I can see it in my pad. So, yeah, try something different with your pads. I'll tell you real quick though, my tip for my pads, what I love, what works for me, is when I pull the pad off the machine, I have rags to riches diluted in a spray bottle, and I spray my pads, and then I throw them in the washer. But whether you're using a pad washer or however, I still think that spraying your pads, that made a difference for me. Immediately spraying them before the compounds dry within the pad, spraying them down with rags to riches kind of starts it breaking up, and it just makes them wash out better. So I would maybe start trying that. Like that made a difference for me for sure.
Yep, that's what we do in the training center, and then I actually run them under the water and I work the product out of the pad, and I throw them in the washing machine as well.
Yeah,
so we've had a lot less testing because of that. All right, what do we got here?
Brent says, thanks for all your hard work. PNS, time for me to go to work. Detailing by Brent in Mount Zion, Illinois. That's
Awesome. Maybe we can run into him this weekend.
Superado says, Fat Joe pads for the win. Love it. We kind of already have a Fat Joe pad, don't you think?
We kind of do, yeah.
Oreo one. That's kind of a Fat Joe.
Ooh, I like the bandit pad. That's kind of cool.
That's funny. Double black bandit pad. What is the go-to rotary tool? Well, I've never used a rotary, but I just got the Flex 24-volt rotary, and I'm pretty excited about it. I would never start it without somebody being here with me, but I'm pretty excited about it.
This is not an endorsement on my part by any means, but my favorite rotary tool so far in all these years has been the PE14 corded rotary from Flex, which obviously they've got battery tools now, but I've always enjoyed that tool. I thought it was light, nimble, easy to use, all that stuff. So that's been mine. Bob, what about you?
Well, I would think that just the general rule of a newer style rotary tool: lighter, slower, more nimble, cordless, 5-inch pad. I mean, all those things just take rotary to the next level. Yeah. And the PE14, the thing that we like about it is its ability to basically, operate at 50 RPMs or 100 RPMs or 200, whatever you need it to do, you can control it to get it to that speed, which makes it really versatile.
Yeah. And for those wondering, we have the Root Best rotary in the training center, and it's a great tool as well. So nothing wrong with either one of those tools.
Markabar, thank you for that advice. See you guys next week.
You got it.
And then he says, okay, I'm putting my finish on your advice, and then you guys can look at the cars and tell me. And then he did emojis. I don't remember what that was about, but
he's got some cars at SEMA, so we'll be able to see.
Okay.
He's gonna.
Okay, but I don't remember what advice we gave. But I don't remember what advice we gave him. I have to go back and watch again.
Finally, something close. Yes. Yeah, I'm excited about that, Justin. It's been a 2-year project to get that program going, so we're excited.
Yep. Juan, 20 years ago when I worked at a shop, everybody hated buffing or doing anything that had to do with paint correction because it just wasn't their thing. And detail back in those times, especially a lot of detail guys, they were the only ones doing the bare minimum. Yeah, it's, I mean, if you had asked me 8 years ago, I hated doing paint correction. Absolutely hated it. Now I love it because, one, I have Rehab.
Tools are better, pads are better, products
are better,
everything's
the pads
better.
Are great. Yeah. And so it's so much more efficient. And I caused a lot of physical damage to myself using the wrong tools, 10 years ago. And so just the advancement in just the whole advancement in the paint correction space anyway has just been, now I really enjoy it. But yeah, years ago I hated it.
Yeah.
Frank, can't wait.
Yeah.
Christopher Todd Robson, Defender is definitely top shelf. Yeah.
Yeah.
We think it is. Love it.
We love it.
First from Puerto Rico. Hello. John, love Defender. See you at SEMA. It's my first time too. I'm so excited. Oh, that's so awesome. I love that there's a couple first timers. Yeah. Joey Bowinski.
Speaking of first timers,
Joey.
It's Joey. Yeah, Joey. It'll be his first time too. Yeah, SEMA sounds like it'll be a fun mini reunion. It always is.
Yep,
we love it.
It's usually a big reunion. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just used Rehab and Defender on my headlights. Came out fantastic. Perfect.
Yeah,
that is awesome. I did some headlights last week too with Rehab. Just wanted to see how much. They didn't turn out perfect. I actually took pictures before and after. They of course don't come out as if you sand them, but I mean it was a huge improvement. Just for a quick little cleanup for a customer. We weren't doing headlight restoration, but I just wanted to clean them up. Aaron, hey all, any news that I missed? Yes, we released all the new product names. You have to go back to the
So bad.
First from Puerto Rico. Hello. Scott Kelly.
Now we're getting all our hellos in. So
yeah.
We're rolling through. Here we go. I think we got a comment.
Nice. Yes, going to try out some 8-ounce Rehab. That was a huge release during TR SEMA. So yes, and I meant to bring my bottle in and I totally forgot. So yes, Rehab came out during TR SEMA and then it just came out in the 8-ounce bottle just a couple weeks ago and it's so adorable. So cute.
And gallon.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and the gallon. I'm going to need to get a gallon.
We got the whole family.
Yeah, whole fam. Awesome. More hellos and we lost our producer. Oh, he's getting the cute little bottle. So adorable.
The cute little bottle.
He's been frozen for me, Sid, for at least half the show. So.
Oh, really? Oh, well,
I got still Keith.
Oh, weird. Yeah, no, he's moving around.
That never happens. I'm never still.
I know that.
Yeah. Now this is funny. I saw this one coming. Michael Hill, finding orange shoes is harder than it should be. I bet.
Well, I have some advice on this one. My advice is reach out to Mr. Jamie Buchanan.
Yeah,
he seems to have a line on all glow-in-the-dark shoes. So
he had Hoka's, didn't he?
Yeah,
he had orange Hoka's.
He did, yeah.
Have you looked at the Hoka's, Michael?
Yeah, Hoka's and Ons are typically where you're going to find your orange shoes.
Yeah, or for some reason, didn't Asics come out with a whole line of crazy colored shoes as well? For some reason, I'm picturing those Asic running shoes.
And I think Brooks has some wacky colors too. So try those guys.
I just looked over and my cat is laying in my basket of just out of the dryer towels for the shop.
Oh, wait a minute. Who's that in the background, Bob?
What's that?
You get the doggo?
Furry in the background.
Yeah, I got a dog. Yeah. Right there.
No, I didn't recognize her because she wasn't moving at Mach 2.
Yeah, well, you can see she's underneath that blanket.
Yeah.
She crawls underneath there and burrows and hides herself, but you guys see her little face poking out now.
I've never seen her lay down.
Yeah, well, that doesn't happen.
Her not moving at Mach 2. She's like,
I know.
That's so
usually
funny.
She's a brown flash.
That's so cute. Yep, more hellos. I cannot read my cat.
All right. Hey, van endorsement here. Comfy cushion vans are
great.
Awesome.
They are.
They sure are. Yep,
we'll see you at MTE.
Mm-hmm. Which will come up quicker than we know.
By the way, we have our booth. We'll be announcing that right after SEMA.
Yes, it's going to be epic to meet the old McCall's detailers. Yes. When was the first year of the event? So when was the first year of Monterey?
Well, next year we celebrate our 10th year anniversary.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a big deal. So it was 9 years ago.
Yeah. That is crazy. So would that make it 2015 was the first year?
Yeah. 2015 was the first year.
Yeah. That's awesome. Aaron, I think people are hoping for a new version of Absolute, but why fix something that's not broken? Don't change the chunkiness. Actually, the chunkiness has been changed a little bit already. So Dave's been working on it. But that said, we're not necessarily changing the consistency of it. It just shouldn't chunk up. We're trying to make it less chunky, but not making it like a thin product. But I totally agree. People say that all the time, like improving absolute. And I'm like, how would you improve it? Like, it's so good. And again, I test other rinseless washes and I'm like, well, they're okay. They're good. They all do what they do, but there's just something, there's something extra special about absolute.
I think it's always interesting when detailers want to make a product into something else.
Yeah.
Absolute is absolute. It's like, why do we want to change it? It works. Like,
right.
Yeah.
And even the chunkiness, like even when it was chunky, it didn't necessarily bother me because it totally dissolves in the water and it works great. So, but yeah, no, so not really improving much on.
Yeah.
I don't know what we would improve.
I mean, we've talked about some new versions of absolute.
Yeah, make it a
get rid of
different
absolute.
version.
We'd add another product.
Yeah, like doing other stuff with it that
But absolute's a winner. I mean, like,
yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
this is a good
to
question.
David's comment, I would say all three styles of tool, if you will, forced action, free spin, and rotary, are all professional grade tools. And I think, somebody asked me one time, what's my favorite tool? And I say the one that works best for the problem in front of me right now. And I think that's kind of our approach on tools is whatever works best for you and you're most comfortable with. I don't know that one's easier or harder to learn than the other. They all have their features and benefits, and you have to pick the one that you're most comfortable with, would be my answer.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I have forced and free spin, and I know how to use the forced action. I don't love it, so I hardly ever use it because just for me personally, given the damage that I did early on in my career, forced action isn't super comfortable for me to use, but I will absolutely grab it when I need it. When I need to get down to business, I will put myself through that. But so I prefer more of a free spin, but it doesn't mean, that forced action's great. And I think that you have to find what's comfortable for you and where you're going to work the best, because I think too, I've seen a lot of paint corrections and things like that. And a lot of people will say that, you can't do the same level of correction with a free spin that you can a forced. But I would disagree because I can do some really great stuff with, a Rupe SDA. I can do some really great correction that maybe somebody else couldn't because they don't use it all the time and they don't have the same techniques and they don't believe in it as much. But I've seen corrections side by side and I can get just as good a correction with a free spin. It may take me longer, but sometimes it's all about comfortability and what works for you. So I think my biggest advice is don't ever let anybody tell you what works best for you. Try them all out and see what works best for you and what makes you most comfortable.
Yeah, I'll never forget the time Bob and I were at an auction. Remember that, Bob? And we were working on a Kia paint, and we were using a wool pad and old Ego Maker back then. And I was basically grinding the hell out of it with a flex. And Bob took a Rupe S tool and no pressure and just went over it like he normally would. And he got a better result than I did. And I just think sometimes it's a combination of your paint and your tool and your technique and what you have in front of you. So, when people say you can't finish with a forced action, hey, we've finished Air Force One, which is a reflective surface with aluminum with a forced action for years. So I just think it's what you're comfortable with, what you're used to doing, and your proficiency as you practice to do it.
Yeah. Mark, good mornings.
Yep.
Good morning from Orange County, California.
The OC.
What's the best?
Oh, Bob has the answer. What's the answer, Bob?
Last longer.
Full scent.
Full send.
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
Or wipe and shine, but full send. I mean, it's so killer.
Yeah.
Wipe and shine. Wipe and shine.
Yeah.
Best dressing out there. That's like Defender. It doesn't get enough play.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wipe and shine probably as far as like it has the best shine. I would say like if you're looking for a shinier dressing, because it's not donut glaze, right? It's just a nice natural shine, but it is a little bit more shiny.
All right.
But it's a very natural shine.
And I am going to
Wipe and
coin a
shine.
name for the style of dressing that Wipe and Shine is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sport dressing. In other words, basically, it's like not super shiny. It's a great finish on exotic cars at a car show.
Yeah.
It delivers what you want a finished product to be.
Yeah. And so it's my dressing that I always use when I'm ceramic coating for a couple reasons. One, because it does just take it to the next level. You know, it makes it look very luxurious. So I like to pair that with a ceramic because of the whole delivery. I like to have the whole package, but I also like to use it when I'm doing ceramic because I'm not spraying anything in the air, right? So at whatever point I'm doing that I decide to put the dressing on, I'm not spraying anything in the air. I work in a small shop, and so that's my dedicated. If I'm doing a ceramic coating job, they get Wipe and Shine. But then yes, my everyday go-to is full send or dynamic, but Wipe and Shine is probably my favorite. Absolutely. And I would say that it lasts the longest too. You're going to get a couple more days out of Wipe and Shine than you are a water-based, silicone dressing. All right. Stilly said, I needed sanding training, especially with boats here on Lake Pulla. Need sanding training. Maybe we could join in with Rupes on that.
Well, we haven't released what
they do a great sanding training.
Maybe we'll have maybe I'll put a bug in Todd's ear about what we can.
I think he's saying we should go up to the lake house and do a sanding training out front of the house.
Yeah, but we'll have Rupes come join us. They've got the sanding thing down. Sarah, is there any chance of seeing new products on Friday at Chicago training? Well, possibly.
That is a definite maybe.
Topic.
Definitely maybe. Yes, Hokas have plenty of orange options. It looks like he did find some in the Brooks. So
Brooks. Okay. Yeah. Good deal. I wish you guys were here in Wisconsin. You only have so many options here.
We do have a partner in southern Wisconsin, Schumacher Supply, so check them out. But working on it, always working on it.
This cat's killing me. Bob, what is the dog's name?
Willow. Miss Willow's right here.
Joey just got a new little kitten.
There she is.
Oh, look at that.
Hello, Miss Willow. Here, we'll get her.
Aw. She doesn't want to look at us.
Yeah.
She just likes you. So cute.
Oh,
just here full of love.
Brooks for the win. Hey, Sid, I'm under the impression that Rehab is similar to the last cut. Samesies different. Oh, totally different, I think. I think it's totally different. Last cut was kind of, I used Last Cut for years. Great product. But there was some issues with it. The dusting, it wasn't a great, easy wipe off. So I would say that Rehab is a completely different experience to use. I feel like it definitely gets more efficient results. And it's just, Rehab is really like a pleasure to use. Like that's the funny part about it is you never think about the liquid that you're using. You don't really even factor it in. You're just like, does it work or not? Rehab is like actually in a little experience. Like it's really nice to use. It has a really long working time. The wipe off is a whole experience. And then also it has a scent, right? It has the strawberry lemonade scent. So it's a whole experience. So it's just, I don't know. It changes paint correction. And so it's completely different than the last cut. And just because it's a whole different experience and I get, far better results and much easier, but it's just newer technology, right? So that's not putting down the last cut. The last cut for the longest time was everybody's go-to for a one-step. Yeah. It's still a great product, but Rehab is completely different than the last cut. I would definitely say.
I mean, the wipe off is.
Yeah. Well, and the working time, the emulsion system, the wipe off, the scent, the dusting, everything.
I think one of the benefits that we continue to love about Rehab, and I don't think detailers realize how much work they spend wiping product off the car until you have one that just wipes off like nothing's there. And you're like,
Oh, yeah.
man, that's like
So
huge.
much time saving and so much just cleanup savings. Like, not only the time, and then, I used to get so frustrated with the towels, and then you end up marring with the towel. I mean, it just
I
was
mean, I got to
crazy.
tell you, the only bummer about Rehab is we probably sell less paint gloss now because you don't have to pull out paint gloss to wipe down the paint,
Right. To get
right?
it down.
Because
Yeah.
you just
Yep.
wipe it
Well,
with the towel.
and the lack of
Yep.
dusting too. I mean, just that's huge as well. You're
Yeah.
not doing the dust cleanup
Mhm.
as well on the back end, which leads us to
Yeah.
Anna's
Yep.
question, and the answer is Rehab can get you
Yeah.
there easily.
Yeah.
If you're just doing a primer polish, you could use Rehab. You could use Envy, whichever one. I would
Mhm.
probably still use Rehab.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Rehab. I mean, as far as like when a customer comes in with a new car, and which I still have yet to find a new car that's not scratched, but when people are thinking like, oh, I just need to prep polish for a new car for a coating, I absolutely Rehab every single time. Just because it is so easy to use, and you're going to get the maximum amount of correction, versus using like a soft polish or something. So because of how easy Rehab is, I would choose that every single time. Yeah. So Anna also says, when in doubt, get custom color shoes via Nike or Vans.
There you go.
Yep. Juan, it's probably because they don't know how to use it, meaning the machines, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Aaron, new absolute dilution 1 to 1024, or make it a limited edition.
You think that
Yeah.
Absolute's chunky now? It'll get really chunky at 1 to 124. So. Yeah.
That's funny. John, Absolute is in my lineup with every job. It's a great product. Absolutely. Absolute is just fine as is, but I do have a bottle that I mix in a touch of Bead Maker. Literally did a whole interior detail of a Porsche Cayenne last week. I've heard about this. It's called the Honey Pot. I still have yet to try it, but I need to try it as like a quick detailer. I need to do that. I don't know why it got the name Honey Pot, but I've heard that. Juan, I think you're right. I think it's what you're comfortable with and what you're okay using. Think that if I had my way, I would use an old heavy duty wall pat. I think it means wall pad with a little bit of pressure, because the buffer is already heavy. It just takes they're too long.
Yep.
Yeah, just do what's comfortable for you in paint correction. I mean, I know a lot of old school guys, they just prefer to use a rotary, and I mean, more power to them, right? If they can run that and get that done, like, more power to you.
Yep.
Full throttle.
Yep, not a bad product to use, but I probably would go with Rehab or with Envy on DA.
Yeah.
Party at Lake Tulloch. Let's
Party.
do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Go, John.
Next summer. We'll do it. Jeff, what would PNS version of the last polish be? Probably, I mean, you're probably kind of flirting with Envy there. I think the last polish probably has a little bit more abrasive in it, but honestly, Rehab was built to be adaptable to the pad. So, I mean, when used with, a black pad, you're really getting more of the polishing. So I'm going to have to just keep saying Rehab. I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
I mean, why keep reinventing it? It's like, it just works. Don't overthink it.
So Anna, this is a funny question. So can we get the essence of Rehab? We actually already have it. So fun fact, we have Strawberry Lemonade came out last SEMA in the fragrance line as the essence of Triple S, but it is the same fragrance that is in Rehab. So we actually already have it. It just came out as the essence of Triple S prior to Rehab being made, but so many people loved the scent and everything, so we just went ahead and used it in Rehab, and it's fantastic. So it is the Strawberry Lemonade from the PNS fragrance line.
Yeah, there's only so many fragrances we can get, and so we did kind of, I won't say recycle, but we upcycled that one. Last question for the day: what's Full Throttle? Go, Sid.
This is actually a good question. So Full Throttle it was a polish that had been made years ago, right, Bob? It's been around for a long time.
Yeah, it was designed to be a rotary polish.
Really, and
a problem solver is really, if you had difficult paint, challenging paint with rotary foam, and you need something to kind of save you, that's what Full Throttle was, designed to be a finished product. Yeah.
And it's a great product. And fun fact, and I think I can speak for both Josh Pierce and myself, we used the Last Cut forever. we found Full Throttle in the basement, if you want to call it that. And so Josh and I were both exclusively using Full Throttle for our 1-steps. And it was great, but there was always like, you were like, I just wish it did this, or I wish it had this, I wish it did this. It wasn't exactly what we were looking for because it was a polish, not a compound. But it was great. And so when Rehab started kind of, being thought about, and Dave started working on and using different systems and things, Full Throttle was one that we said to him, like, Full Throttle's great. Like, we love this about it. And there was like 5 characteristics of Full Throttle that we loved. That was actually the feedback we gave to Dave. Like, if you could make this new product have this behavior and this behavior and this behavior, that would be great. So like, it wasn't perfect for what we were doing today with DAs and foam pads and wanting it to be a 1-step, getting the correction level. But, Full Throttle was pretty easy to wipe off. It wasn't as easy as Rehab, but it was pretty easy to wipe off. But, definitely Josh Pierce and I were using a lot of Full Throttle before Rehab was made, but we definitely weren't getting the correction or the ease that we do with Rehab. But that was kind of what we definitely asked for, a lot of the characteristics that Full Throttle had. So it's a great polish. I think the one thing that I thought about it was it didn't work perfect on every paint system, but when it did work on a lot of them, and it's a great polish. I still think it's a great polish.
Yeah, and I think it was primarily formulated for Rotary.
Yeah.
And so, we were adapting it to DA, and it transferred over in many cases, but just didn't check all the marks. Yeah. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but a great product.
Yep.
Thoughts on using paint glass for interior plastic and its anti-static properties. I've never used it on the plastics. You certainly could. I mean, I would say I've used it, but like as a cleanup real quick. But I definitely use it on the carpets for the anti-static properties as a vacuum aid. So if you just were needing to wipe something down, a spill or something, you could absolutely use paint gloss. Use paint gloss for everything. But my tip here is that if you're having a dusting problem on the interiors and you're wanting it to be anti-static, I would actually try changing your cabin air filter first, because if you're having a big dusting problem, it's most likely the anti-static's not going to help that. So if you have a big dusting problem, I don't think it's a static issue. I would try changing your cabin air filter, but you could absolutely use paint gloss on any surface of the vehicle. But if you're having a dusting problem thinking it's static, I would try changing the cabin air filter.
Okay, we are up against it because Bob and I actually have a meeting in 5 minutes.
4 minutes.
4 minutes.
4 minutes. We're getting up against it. Thank you, guys. We will see you at SEMA. For those in the Chicago area, we'll see you maybe this week. And then stay tuned. Next Bead Maker and Coffee is back on the Monday. So it will be the Monday after SEMA. Big show for us. And we look forward to seeing all of you guys then.
Yep, for sure. Thanks, everyone. I will see you guys tomorrow in Chicago.
Sid, thanks for having me on. Always enjoyable.
Yeah.
Keith, talk to you in 5 minutes. And Sid,